Hi everybody, my name is Barry Schwartz and this is the Search Buzz video recap. Today is Friday, June 6th, and this is the search news we covered over the past week at seroundtable.com, the search engine roundtable. Anyway, first up, I posted the big monthly recap about what happened in the past month regarding Google, specifically the Google Webmaster related topics. The biggest things obviously was the Panda 4.0 rollout, the Google spam algorithm update. It seems like press releases took a major hit with that, as well as we talked about the much of the winners and losers. We also posted a poll, which I'll talk about a little bit later, about how people like you guys fared in that update. We also talked about several updates that Google would not confirm. We talked about how eBay got slapped. It might have been a manual or Panda related algorithm impact. Metafilter talked about their penalty or their ranking declines from a year or two ago, and how somebody called out, Google's next competitor called out a penalty, specifically saying it's competitive reasons. So we have lots of topics we discussed over the past month. If you want a quick recap, check out our post on June 4th at seroundtable.com. Today I posted about how Google has a new feature, or bug, whatever you want to call it, but it's really a feature, where if you are on your mobile device and you're doing a search and the website itself that you're about to click on actually doesn't take you to the actual page that you're on, but takes you to the home page because it's a mobile site and it wants to take you to the mobile user experience, but they're not taking you to the specific page that you search for, it will actually say, may open the site's homepage instead of the actual page, and it says, do you want to try it anyway or whatever. So that's going to obviously have a major impact on any click-through rate. Google recommends you try it on your own mobile device, or you try it on a user agent specific to a mobile user agent, so you can actually see what happens. And obviously check your Webmaster Tools, which released a new feature that says faulty redirects, that actually will show you the redirects that are faulty on your site, and obviously deploy the best practices specifically for mobile usage. Talking about mobile, Google has released or announced that their app indexing, which allows you to build in features into your actual app that actually link content from the search results on Android devices to your actual Android app. Anyway, now it supports several other languages, including Chinese, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Brazilian, Portuguese, Russian, and Spanish. And there's a bunch of apps that came out that supports that. I was away 2 days this week for a holiday, so I posted a bunch of polls, and here, let me show you those polls. So I asked, did Google's Panda update, how did Google Panda update 4.0 specifically impact your website? And we have 16% saying they recovered after that. We have 20% saying they actually saw an increase. We have 28% saying they actually saw their sites were actually newly penalized. 24% there was no change, plus or minus, and 12% said they did not recover at all. So we had a big poll about that. Definitely take a look at that. Oops, let's go back here. So we asked you a while ago, do you think Google's penalties, either algorithmic or manual actions, are immoral and unethical? And we actually went ahead and did a poll, and a lot of people said yes, they are immoral and unethical. 58% of you said it's not good. 34% said it is okay, it's not unethical or immoral, and 8% said they're not sure, nor do they care. Then we asked, should Google confirm penalties to the public? Like if I say it was penalized, yours, mine, some public website was penalized, should they confirm it? And 71% of you said yes, they should. I'm a little bit surprised by that. 21% said they shouldn't, and 8% just said they don't really care. This is not surprising. We asked you, back in the day, Google, like a few months ago, Google released a new UI for their search results. The UI was basically just, the ads no longer have that yellow background, and they went ahead and cleaned it up a bit with the eye. And then we asked you, do you like the new design? And most people said, 59% said no, they don't, 25% said they do, and so forth. So we definitely are not surprised by that at all. Google's Matt Cutts posted the #1 SEO mistake that a business owner can make. And guess what it is? It is not having a website at all. It's not building your website in Flash. It's not using the wrong keywords. It's not submitting a sitemap file. It is just simply not having a website. And he did that using an invisible skin, so that it says if you're invisible to us, you're invisible to Google, and anybody searching for you is not going to find you. Google's Matt Cutts also did another video about how does Google handle content without links. Specifically, the video asked how does Google determine the quality content if there aren't a lot of links pointing to it. Matt Cutts basically said go old school. Let's look back at the days of Alta Vista and how Alta Vista or search engines that did not use linkage data rank content. And it's obviously about the content on the page and how often those words are repeated. And then obviously the more times you use the words, the more diminishing that becomes. In any event, it's not a great video because, you know, there are other ways that Google probably uses factors to actually rank content, obviously the quality content and stuff like that, which we talked about briefly, but you should take a look at that. Obviously links are very important to Google. I posted this thing about how negative SEO on Google is getting much easier according to a bunch of SEOs, and I'm probably going to do a post next week about some examples of that. In any event, it has a lot of topics going on here, and a lot of people are saying yes. And I posted a poll, which I'll probably post the results later. But you can see that we had, so far, 330 responses, and 75% of you saying negative SEO is way easier than it was in the past, specifically because of all these algorithm changes that Google has been implementing. This is great. So if you have a Google Plus page for your business, and you have a Google Maps listing, often those two were actually separate. There was no linkage between the two, and it's very frustrating for me. I had like 3 or 4 Google Plus pages or whatever for my own company with map listings, and it was just ridiculous. Now, you can actually go ahead and combine them. It's great. So I posted the whole process on it. So if you have 2, there's actually a whole process on how to actually combine it. You definitely want to take a look at this if you fall in this case. June 4th at SEOroundtable.com. I take you step by step on how to actually go ahead and link your Google Plus business page to your Google Maps listing page, all within Google Plus. Google AdSense has made 2 updates. One is they went ahead and improved the AdSense ad creation process, so it's much more user-friendly, easier to do, and they go, here's some screenshots of the new UI. And also they added 2 new ad sizes, a 970 by 250 and a 300 by 1050. These are huge ad units, and Google's saying, yeah, they're trying new things, yada, yada, yada. And they're doing this, and you can actually go ahead and do this if you want, and use up, you know, your whole entire website with ad space. And also, they made a small change where they actually made the URL, instead of being a specific color, they actually made it gray. So just a heads up on that. Talking about ads, Google AdWords dropped their support for going into the AdWords console for IE9 users or below. So just a heads up, if you're using IE9 or below, you can no longer use the AdWords console. And Bing Ads actually dropped support for IE8 or below for their ad console. Google, as you know, had to comply with EU regulations and actually provide a way for people who do not want to be found in Google search results in the EU. Like if I have something bad written about me, I can go ahead and say, hey Google, you have to remove it if I was in the EU, in the European Union and stuff like that. Now there's a form over there, so if you do have stuff and you have reputation management issues, and you could actually go ahead and submit a form, which I linked to over here on June 2nd, on how to actually get your thing removed from the Google listings. And here's a picture of the form. They ask you for a lot of questions. It's not the easiest thing to fill out, but it's definitely worth it. And in the first day alone, 12,000 submissions were processed. I think over the weekend, I think over 40,000 submissions were processed or submitted. And Google is actively removing this stuff, which is pretty interesting. I just find the whole thing very, very interesting. Apple has, in their WWDC, Worldwide Developer Conference, on Monday they announced the new OS X, as well as, which they call, and also iOS 8, their mobile operating system, as well as their desktop operating system. And part of that, Google has stuck it to Apple has dropped Google from their Spotlight search. So it used to be like, right now in the OS and Apple, you actually could go ahead and do a search in Spotlight, and any web results would actually take you to Google. Now it's actually going to take you to Bing in the new version, and this is a preview of what it looks like, and here are the search results and so forth. And obviously it says it specifically there. DuckDuckGo is also now a iOS 8 and OS X in the new beta option for searchers. So if you want to be completely private, according to DuckDuckGo, you could actually go ahead and add a new search default. Your default search provider could actually be DuckDuckGo, as opposed to what's currently Google, Yahoo, whatever it might be. They have another option for DuckDuckGo, which is a nice new feature. And finally, Bing has turned 5 this week, 5 years old. We had actually a nice theme there. But anyway, you can take a look at this, and we talked about how it's pretty amazing actually how far Bing has come. Actually, surprised and not surprised. I'm surprised they haven't come further in terms of market share, but I am not surprised that their quality is as good as it is, which is pretty nice. Anyway, that covers the Search Buzz video recap. Thanks again for listening, and this is the search news we covered over the past week at the Search and Roundtable. Today again is Friday, June 6th. Everyone have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys next week. Bye.